Today we're in the lesson percents and fractions, so we're converting back and forth between percents and fractions. The good news is on most of your homework tonight, there's no work to show. All you have to do is write the original problem. We'll talk about that more in just a second. So if I'm talking about percent to a fraction, we've got to think for a minute. Percent is always out of what? It's always out of 100. So if I say there's an 80% chance of rain today, it's 80% out of 100. If I say you scored an 85% on your test, it's 85% out of 100. So to write it as a fraction, you simply put it over 100. Now, an easy way to check and make sure that your fraction is completely reduced is to enter it in your calculator, 37 over 100, and then hit equals. If the same fraction comes up, you know that it's in simplest form. If it reduces automatically, then you know it needs to be reduced. Well, look at the second one, 50%. We all know that 50%, 50 over 100 reduces to what? 1/2. Okay, we don't need to put that in our calculator, just 1/2. All right, so now I want you to do these four. Write the percents as fractions and make sure you reduce. That's the one thing about your homework tonight. If you forget to reduce these, you're going to get it marked wrong, -2. Okay, so you've got to remember to reduce your fraction. 4% as a fraction is what?
6 over 25.
Okay, 6 over 25. What about 55%, everybody? All right, what about 87%? And 12%? All right, who got them right? Who got them right? Raise your hand. Good job. All right, now in example 2, we're writing fractions as percent, so we're going the other way. Now, there's 2 ways that you can do this. If the denominator goes evenly into 100, and on your homework tonight, all of your denominators will go evenly into 100, you can multiply the fraction by whatever it takes to get the denominator to 100. All right, so take the number in your denominator and divide it by 100. 100 divided by 5 is what?
20.
So multiply top and bottom by 20, and you get 80 over 100, so that's 80%. Okay? You can do all of your homework problems tonight just like that. Now, there's another way you can do it, and I'd be fine if you do your homework problems this way, because what happens if your denominator does not go evenly into 100? Like it's a 7 or an 11. Then you can't do it this way, right? There's nothing you can multiply it by. So you have to change it to a decimal. 4 divided by 5 is 0.8, which converts to 80%. All right, so if you want to convert to a decimal and then a percentage, that would be fine too. All right. I see nodding heads, so we're good. All right, so go ahead and change 3/4 to a percent. Change 3/4 to a percent using either method. So I can multiply top and bottom by 25 to get 75%, or 0.75 equals 75% if I divide it. Okay, so 75%, not sure where you went wrong, but 4 times 25 is 100, so 3 times 25 is 75%. Who got 75%? Okay. All right. So now let's change these fractions to percents. Let's go 10 over 25. 3 over 20. 7 over 10. And 1 over 50. Okay, so number 5, what could you multiply by? Top and bottom by 4, okay, to get 40%. Or, again, you could change to a decimal. That would be fine. What can you multiply top and bottom by on number 6? 5. So you get what? 15%. Very good. All right, what about number 7? Multiply top and bottom by 10, and you get 70%. Don't forget your percent signs. And number 8, what do you multiply by? 2, so you get 2%. All right, who got them all right? Good job. Okay, so now in example 3, we're finding the percent of a number. So we can't just multiply 60 times 75, okay? There is a percent button on your calculator that you could hit, but I would prefer it if you just change your percent to a decimal, 0.6, and then multiply it by the total. Now your book is going to show you a different way, but I prefer this way, and it works more consistently across the board versus having to multiply by fractions. So change the percent to a decimal and multiply by the total. What is 0.6 times 75? What's it going to be? 45. All right, so how do we do it? Explain it to me again. We do what? Change the percent to a decimal and multiply by the total. Go ahead and do the last 2. All right, so what is 35% of 90? What do I do first? Change the percent to a decimal. So what is that? What's 35% as a decimal? 0.35 times 90 is what? 31.5. Who got 31.5?
I was a little bit skeptical about it because I didn't know if you were supposed to have the 0.5.
Yeah, that's fine. So how do I find 40% of 150? 0.4 times 150. Change that percent to a decimal, multiply it by the total, and you get 60. Who got 60? All right, good job. So finding the percent of a number. Now in these, I do want you to change the percent to a decimal and multiply. So on this section on your homework, you need to show me that part. Change the percent to a decimal and multiply. Now in example 4, it tells me that 16 of the top 100 tennis players in the world are from the United States. 16 of the top 100. How can I write that as a ratio? 16 over 100. So what is that as a percentage? 16%. But here's my question. They want to know what percentage, Mackenzie, what percentage of the players in the world are not from the United States? Well, I found the percentage that were. So how could I find the percentage that are not? Subtract from, right? Subtract it from 100. So if I know 16% are from the USA, then I can subtract it from 100 to figure out how many are not from the USA. That's going to help you on number 40 on your homework tonight. That'll help you on your homework, okay? And if you understand that, that's everything you need to know for 9.1.